Well, hello everyone and welcome back to Before the Four, the live stream where I talk about 48's top news stories and then some before our 4 o'clock newscast. Happy Wednesday. It has been a very exciting Wednesday here in the 48 newsroom. A lot going on and a lot to talk about, that is for sure. But as always, thank you so much for watching and spending just a little bit of your Wednesday afternoon here with me, whether you're watching that on Facebook, YouTube, or the 48 Now live stream. I greatly appreciate it. That is for sure. Now, I say we start some stuff off, and let's start things off with the weather. A first alert weather day soon to be in effect. 48 First Alert Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis has the latest forecast. Take a listen.
Well, AJ, we got a wild night ahead. We're going to expect a lot of rain, up to an inch of rain possible, and some wind gusts. It was windy earlier today, but it may get windier tonight, 35 to 40 mile an hour gusts. As we take a look at the radar, there's a large area of rain coming in from the southwest. Heavy rain in Tuscaloosa right now, and that's all headed in our direction. Here's a look at the rainfall potential. As I mentioned, up to an inch possible. This has kind of fluctuated a little bit. I think the initial heaviest rain band between 7 and 9 o'clock may end up just off to our south. As you see here at 6 o'clock, though, we've got wind gusts around 20 to 30 miles an hour, and we've got intermittent heavier rain showers coming through. Those will push through. Then a slight break here around 9 o'clock. Notice the thunderstorm activity out here, though. This is what we'll watch with some gustier winds. Notice 33 mile an hour wind gusts there in Russellville, 36 in Phil Campbell. Those may increase to 40 miles an hour as this line of thunderstorms moves through after midnight. We're not expecting any severe weather. It's a 48 First Alert weather day just because it's impactful weather out there, and you had to maybe secure a few things down with the wind out there and just be prepared for the rain. By noon tomorrow, it's out of here. 65 degrees tomorrow afternoon. 62 Friday. Whew, cooler weather for the weekend, highs in the 60s, and then a bigger cool down coming next week.
Well, thank you, Brad. Now, following up on the Twin Peaks shooting last night in Huntsville, not last night, last Saturday, a preliminary hearing has been set for the man accused of shooting and killing another man. Now, this according to court documents obtained by 48 earlier today. Jeremiah Matkins, who you see on screen, is accused of killing 23-year-old Rayshun Bates. Now, court documents say the preliminary hearing is set for December 4th at 9:30 a.m. at the Madison County Courthouse. Matkins was arrested on November 10th and charged with murder. He remains in the Madison County Jail on a $50,000 bond. And 48's Callie Neese today is speaking with the family members of the victim of this situation. Make sure to stick around for the latest from Callie coming up in our evening newscast. And now a story in case you missed it. On Monday night here in Huntsville, a truck crashed through the home of a Holly Park Boulevard resident. 48's Callie Neese yesterday spoke with neighbors who are speaking out about the situation. And take a listen.
1, 2, 3 cars speeding through this neighborhood. This is the electronic speed check that sits on the end of Holly Park Boulevard. Neighbors say it's only deterrent to keep drivers from speeding on this road. They say they need to keep more drivers in check, especially after a truck slammed into a home Monday night. A neighbor's Ring video shows the 2 women who were in the truck running away, and they were later taken into custody. Investigators think the pair may have been drinking. Neighbors said it was a miracle no one got hurt.
I didn't think it was possible for anybody to go that fast, but the fact that they went so fast and did that to that house, that just, it brought it close to home. I mean, naturally, because I'm thinking that that couldn't happen, and who's doing that? I mean, he's going that fast. But yeah, I don't like the fact that there's more than one entrance at all.
Anita Mitchell walks along this road every day. She says traffic has picked up a lot when Holly Park was connected to Zert Road. Huntsville City Councilman John Meredith says the city opened up the neighborhood to make it easier for first responders. I shared with him that many neighbors told me they wanted speed bumps in this area. He says for that to happen, neighbors would have to sign a petition and get approval from the fire chief.
I'm pretty disgusted with people going as fast as they do because children ride their bikes. And that's my biggest problem. We can, but even me just walking, I walk just about every day, just walking. I mean, who knows? I could have been walking and that could have happened and I could have been killed.
Well, thank you, Callie. And now another story in case you missed it. 48's Aria Pons reports on the growth in the Shoal city of Florence. Take a look.
Downtown is growing, the city of Florence is growing, and I am really excited of the growth and the potential growth that we are about to enhance and experience.
The addition of a brand new parking deck in downtown Florence is making way for more growth in the area. The Tom Bigby parking deck has 273 spots and is free after 5 p.m. Mayor Andy Betterton says the downtown is expanding fast.
All you have to do is come to our downtown any night and know that we're growing, we're energized, we've got restaurants and people will be parking here, and I'm really excited. Hopefully, down the road, UNA can use this space for future games.
Betterton says there have been several projects in the works for the city in order to attract more people here. Parks and recreation developments, cruise ships stocking the river, new businesses popping up, and more. Florence City Council President Katrina Simmons says that she expects the city to grow even more in the next few years.
I encourage everyone to come to Florence, move to Florence, and certainly come here and visit it and see that hometown feel.
The new parking deck will give people everything they could want at their fingertips downtown. The older parking deck that is being replaced is 47 years old. Officials plan on knocking it down, and they're considering their options for that space.
You know, Main Street, Alabama, giving us some possible things there. We're going to start off with a lay down for our future city hall and some street park or some surface parking for the short term.
Thank you, Aria. Certainly growing quickly, there is no doubt about that. But now let's talk about Space Command, a very popular topic among many Alabamians and officials here in the Yellowhammer State. 48's Noah Cowell gives us the latest on whether Space Command will move its way to Huntsville from Colorado Springs under the new administration.
Adderholt has been a strong advocate for Space Command's move to Huntsville since he says Trump began the process at the end of his first term. But despite the Air Force recommending Huntsville in 2021, the Biden administration decided to keep Space Command in Colorado. Adderholt expects that to change.
I would be very shocked if that the president does not announce something in the very near future. I don't know whether it'll be in the next week but it very well could be. You don't want to be 100% sure until you see the handwriting on the wall, but I feel very good about it. I'd rather be where we are in North Alabama than where Colorado is.
Adderholt says Huntsville is where Space Command belongs, and Senator Katie Britt says all the metrics prove that to be the case, and she feels President Biden played politics in ordering Space Command headquarters in Colorado.
We actually finished first when they took all those rankings into account. If you think about Colorado, which ultimately was wrongfully selected by Joe Biden, they came in 5th. Interestingly, though, they were the highest ranked blue state out of all the states that were ranked. So number 1, Alabama, then 2, 3, 4 were all red states. So interesting that Joe Biden decided that he would plop Space Command down in Colorado.
Thank you. And earlier today, 48's Noah Cowell spoke with Senator Tommy Tuberville in a press call. So make sure to stay tuned to our evening newscast to hear what the senator had to say about Space Command coming up. And now let's talk a bit about some state news. The Tuskegee University mass shooting over the weekend. As investigators continue to look for answers in the wake of Saturday night, the victims continue to heal while processing the shock. One alumni who was there described to WBRC's Taylor Pollock the scary moments leading up to getting shot in the foot. Take a look.
The person I spoke with, an alumnus of Tuskegee University, wishes to remain anonymous, but described the scary moments leading up to him getting shot. He says he was walking away from a big gathering when suddenly people began running. So he and his friend also began to run, taking shelter with others behind a car as those shots rang out. He says he told everyone to be calm and stay down, even after another girl got shot in the foot, until those shots stopped. But it wasn't until he and his friend began leaving the scene that he realized he'd also been shot in the foot.
I kept walking and then I noticed some blood was on my shoe. But I was thinking it possibly could be blood from the girl that was laying on the ground feeling like she got shot in her foot because my foot was like right beside hers. I kept taking a couple more steps and like my foot kept hurting. So then I took my shoe off and I looked at my foot and I saw it was a hole in my foot.
The victim tells me he had to undergo surgery in order for the bullet to be removed, but is back at home recovering.
Thank you, Taylor. Certainly a story to keep an eye on, that is for sure, especially as the investigation continues. But now in national politics, President-elect Trump is in Washington today, where he met with President Biden at the White House, the residence he will soon occupy for a second term. The president-elect also visited with congressional Republicans. Now with both the Senate and the House under Republican control, President-elect Trump will have an easier path for his agenda as he continues to announce more key roles in his administration. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest from the White House.
Congratulations. President Biden today welcoming President-elect Trump to the White House, meeting for nearly 2 hours in a return to the traditions of a peaceful transfer of power. The president-elect offering his thanks. He did not host then President-elect Biden during the last transition as he sought to reverse the 2020 results.
Politics is tough, and it's in many cases not a very nice world, but it is a nice world today, and I appreciate very much a transition that's so smooth. It'll be as smooth as it can get.
Before the sit-down, President-elect Trump celebrating with House Republicans as NBC News now projects the GOP secured control of the House, cementing a Republican sweep.
It's nice to win. It's always nice to win. A lot of good friends in this room.
Another win today on Capitol Hill for South Dakota Senator John Thune, who Senate Republicans voted in as their new majority leader. He'll oversee approval of Trump administration nominees. The president-elect announcing Florida Senator Marco Rubio as his pick for Secretary of State, and Fox News host Pete Hegseth his choice for Secretary of Defense. The Army National Guard veteran who served in Iraq and Afghanistan has argued against women in combat roles and said the military focuses too much on diversity.
Any general that was involved, general, admiral, whatever that was involved in any of the DEI woke, it's got to go.
Democrats pushing back.
The selection of this person who has very little experience in running the largest department in the federal government, serious concerns.
President-elect Trump also tapping tech billionaire Elon Musk and entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy to lead a new Department of Government Efficiency with promises to slash spending and bureaucracy, saying they'll provide advice from outside of the government that the president-elect is preparing to lead. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Thank you, Alice. And now we all love our dogs, but there's one thing none of us love about taking care of them. Michelle Bake shows us how one clever pet owner could help you take the stink out of the job. Take a look.
Twinkie.
The best innovations
it's okay.
are born out of need.
You're okay, Twinkie.
In Caleb Olson's case,
I felt like this is a huge problem.
that need is often big and always smelly, even in flood or frost. It forces the dog dad outside multiple times a day.
Why not attempt it with the poop copter?
Yeah, the poop copter.
Zelda boot up sound.
Never been done before as per his research.
That's the problem with the fake poop, is that the wind blows it away. There's so many rabbit holes I could go down.
The software engineer shows his machine can hover the grass till it detects a brown parcel. With a descent and a scoop, it takes a crap for you.
It's like, okay, where do you take the poop? Aside from dropping it on your neighbor's house?
That's a serious question.
What you could do.
Given its start as one pet's business in the snow.
She's the original motivating factor.
A mere pet project.
The goal is to go direct to consumer.
I think that'd be the most fun if people could have their own.
The copter's a work in progress. 30. No. 31.
No.
Iterations in. Caleb needs to make it run automatically.
You can do it in the middle of the night. You can run whenever you want.
But as important as that first task,
Decide and set a timer.
is duty number 2.
Doo-doo drone.
Flushing out a name.
Feces flinger.
As refined as the product.
Poo pilot. You can't get around there being poop in some way in the name. The biggest reward is actually picking up a poop. There's a little dopamine hit of feeling like you've made progress.
This could be the hottest gadget to drop. for all your doggy drop-ins.
Automated poop pickup, a drone that picks up your poop.
I do not think I would want to be neighbors with anyone who has something like that, especially if they're planning to drop it in my yard, that is for sure. But what an innovative idea right there. Don't have to touch the poop. You have a device that will get it for you, but that is hilarious. I saw that earlier today and was like, you all have to see this. But now another story. High schoolers in Tempe, Arizona are getting an interesting and unique opportunity that will prepare them for not only college, but the real world. These future engineers are working to make robotic hand prosthetics, and their work is coming a long way. Local News Live correspondent Steven Sabreria attended their class to see what they plan to use this technology for.
These high schoolers are hard at work designing something that not only looks like it's from the future, but is very practical for everyday use.
This is probably like the most fun project I've done yet because you can see its real life applications and how important this can be in the world.
We met up with Gary Hoffland and his classmates at Corona del Sol, where they're making prosthetic hands that are delicate enough to handle a remote.
Remotes for everything is day-to-day life.
In this project, their teacher wants their designs to help people with various hand disorders.
In the engineering industry, inevitably, there's always going to be a customer that wants a different request.
Okay, so we have a prototype right here. I can see it simulates hand movements. So what's the goal? We have this. What's the goal to translate it to this?
Okay, the goal to translate it to this is basically, instead of pulling a string to move the finger down, is we have it set through our programming that we press the button and we'll tie the string to this and it'll wind around pulling the string down. And we'll have a button for, say, each finger movement.
While you're seeing a lot of cardboard right now, these are just prototypes. The plan is to 3D print their creations and add the robotics to it. Hoffland's teacher, Melissa Wendell, says there's a good chance these future engineers create life-changing products.
I really hope that they consider, I remember that human factor in engineering, and we need to consider the different measurements of the body parts and how humans are going to interact with their design.
Do you think you'll use what you were learning right here for this project?
I hope so. It'd be really cool.
Super cool stuff right there, and that is what I would consider a story that you wouldn't want to miss. And speaking of stories you're just not going to want to miss, let's head into those stories you're just not going to want to miss in our evening newscast. Fort Payne passing a new ordinance that will force chicken owners to keep chickens on their property. Get that story from 48 Savannah Sap. Another story you're just not going to want to miss, an update on the I-565 construction here in Madison County. Get that story. And finally, you're just not going to want to miss the details of a new animal control center coming to Franklin County. These are just a few of the stories you're just not going to want to miss in our evening newscast. And I believe it is just about that time. And what time is it? As always, you know the drill. This is how we always like to end before the 4. And this is, of course, Facebook fun. Our 48 Facebook question of the day. Are you traveling for Thanksgiving this year? Thanksgiving is coming around the corner. It is almost here. And what I want to know is if you all are traveling. I am personally staying here in the Rocket City, but I want to know where you all are going. So let's see. Lucia said she will be in Florida. That is super awesome. Great state to be in, especially this time of the year. It's like that perfect weather in Florida. I went to Florida, I think, back in 2014 around Thanksgiving, and it was an awesome time. We were in the Orlando area, and yeah, it's still, for the most part, safe to swim in the ocean. It's not too cold quite yet, but it is also not burning up. So that is a great place to be. Lucia, thank you so much for commenting. Rocky said, yes, from the living room to the kitchen. And honestly, that can sometimes be a long trip, especially when you're super cozy in the living room. And you're hungry, but you don't feel like getting anything because you are super cozy. But Rocky, that sounds like an awesome trip. And I hope you enjoy whatever is in the kitchen. I hope it is tasty. Thank you so much for commenting. Tammy said, yes, we are coming to Huntsville to see our son. We currently live in Louisiana. Well, Tammy, welcome to Rocket City. I hope you and your family have an awesome time here in Huntsville. And yeah, that is super awesome. Thank you so much for commenting. Jan said she is going to Raleigh, North Carolina. I have never been to Raleigh, but I heard it is absolutely gorgeous up there in Raleigh. So Jan, safe travels. I hope you have an awesome trip. Thank you so much for commenting. And then Deborah Williams said, yes, she is traveling for Thanksgiving, but it is to work. And Deborah, you and me both, I will be working on Thanksgiving. So me and you, we are on the same page. Absolutely. Thank you so much for commenting. And yeah, greatly appreciate it. Anyone who commented today, thank you so much for commenting. It honestly makes my day reading through all your comments here on the 48 Facebook question of the day. So thanks again for commenting. And that is just about all she wrote for today's Before the Four, but I want to thank you all for sticking around with me and spending a little of your Wednesday afternoon here. If you haven't done so already, make sure you download the 48 Digital app, the 48 First Alert Weather app, and the 48 Sports Zone app. Turn on those push notifications. You will never miss a breaking news story, and you know you want to stay tuned for that. But with that said, that is just about it for today's Before the Four. But as always, I want to thank you for watching. You all have a great night.